there might be better ways to pay than now, but I do think that there is a lot of security issues if you just blink with your eye and perform a payments. So I do think that the current system is quite efficient. But when I think about Neuralink, I definitely think about other extremely radical changes than just how we pay. I do think that what it does is basically reading our minds, and how can we use that to communicate more efficiently. Not at least how can some of the people that have different handicaps and are not able to express themselves, how can they use it? But also far out in the future, how can we communicate through our thoughts? That's truly radical and extremely important, or extremely interesting how that will evolve. The simple answer is yes. Then the question becomes, what's the time horizon here? And I'm not so sure about that. You know, I'm from Denmark, living in Nordic countries. You are not very often in touch with physical money. So some might argue that they have disappeared already, and I don't think that it will take much time before they disappear from the normal consumer here in the Nordic countries, but other countries are much more behind, so that will take some time. But I definitely think that at some point it suddenly becomes too much of a burden to run a physical money system when it's not used more than by some of the, we could call them laggers in the market. So yes, I believe so. The timing in this, I'm not in a position to do predictions about that. I mean, we have digital money already, and hacking the banking system is obviously a risk, but it's also something that there are invested huge amounts of money in to prevent. Then when we speak about the cryptocurrencies, there are also fragilities there. You could argue that the core system of Bitcoin, for example, that has really proven very difficult to hack, given that it has been up and running since 2008 without any serious hacks. But of course, the digital currencies has to be put into a layer of a governance process that is not fully distributed, that are handled by people. And we have seen a lot of fragilities there, or vulnerabilities, where institutions that have been dealing with digital money or cryptocurrencies has been hacked and compromised. Good question. So new forms of risk. I do think that what we at the Copenhagen Institute for Future Studies work a lot with is the risk of becoming obsolete, what we call strategic risks. So if you're a bank, one of the major risks might be that you fail to develop and continuously be relevant. And obviously the cryptocurrency system is a movement developed as a protest for the monetary system that we have. I think we have seen over the years that it's difficult to fully disrupt the current banking system. So I wouldn't be concerned about banking, but definitely some of the banks are not keeping up with the pace of change. One of the things that I think is to be most worried about would be some of the super apps that we see in Asian regions emerging and take the contact of the consumer to them. So the banks will be moved one step behind and not have the direct contact with the consumer, and that will obviously be a disruptive element for many of the current banks. But of course, banks will be able to fight back on this movement. But that's some of the major risks I see at the moment. I don't think fear is a very good emotion to use proactively. So I think that should be avoided. I also do think that the concern of AI taking over all the jobs is exaggerated. If we look at what has happened historically, automation in all different shapes hasn't led to mass unemployment, but it has led to structural changes. And I do think that AI will lead to structural changes. What we very often say is that your job won't be replaced by AI, but it will be replaced by someone being very good at AI. So that would be the first thing to focus on. How can you leverage AI to do your job better? But of course, I do think that banks has over the past years really digitized a lot of the existing jobs, and many have been left out of job because of this. But then banks has hired people for new positions, and I do think that will be the case with AI to a large extent as well. I do think that a lot of the things that AI can do is taking over the administrative tasks and what we often as humans might find boring, so that we can focus on being humans. Historically, what we have seen is that automation of different things haven't really led to much additional spare time. It has just led to us doing more and more, say, detailed things and thinking about services in new ways. So if you 200 years ago had elaborated on whether we would have people that are spending time doing some of the administrative tasks we find in banks, for example, people would have no idea that there would be a function related to compliance and money laundering, for example. So I do think that all of this could be automized and we could focus more on being humans. The question is if that's the direction we as humans are taking this into, or that we will continue to run towards how can we add value in new ways and how can we work more and more. Basically, I think the analogy has been used that we as humans are becoming the machine. So we are becoming production machines now. That's the way we treat ourselves in the economy at the moment. But I do think that there are some potential positive outcomes that where we use AI to become more free and spend more time thinking about how we can be humans and how we can enjoy ourselves. That's the positive scenario, definitely.